Hello guys, welcome. It's Gorathon here from Harper Elite Trading. It's Double Whammy Sunday. It's the second video of the day. This video we're gonna mainly focus on psychology because I've had a lot of members requesting for videos on psychology. Some people struggling with mindset as well. So this is all for you guys, right? And full credits for this presentation should go to Viv, one of my students who have been diligently preparing this. So all credits for his hard work. Right. So the trading framework mainly involves three pillars, right? You need to have the analysis part. You also need to have the funds and the money, right? So for management and then the psychology. So if you do not have a proper trading setup, if you do not have a proper trading workout or a strategy, there's no point in you having funds and no point in you having a good psychology, right? It's only gonna get worse if your analysis is wrong. The same way, no matter how much of skill you have, no matter how much of good psychology you have, if you do not have funds or the money to get into trading and properly trade, you're gonna eventually get tired of this long journey, right? Understand this is a marathon and not a sprint race, okay? um Likewise, even if you had lots of skills, even if you had lots of money in your bank, if your psychology is not good, you're not gonna do okay, right? So when it comes to analysis, you need to have a data back strategy. So what this means is that you should have back tested enough to have an understanding that your strategy works. For example, you should have at least backtested 1 year of data. And why do I say 1 year of data? Is because then you would know when you have a losing week, right? Especially if you have two losing weeks in a row, right? You would know to not to stop trading the same strategy because you have data gathered beforehand to understand, all right, my strategy, with my strategy I can be profitable overall. I have net profitability, but there have been times where I will have losing weeks, where I will have two losing weeks in a row, but I always come back or bounce back. There can also be a rarely a losing month as well, depending on how the geopolitical circumstances are. But I always make sure I come back once again. So that confidence you can only get if you have back tested enough of trades or enough for enough days, right? So I know you sitting in front of a computer and back testing, clicking buying and selling will not work at all. So that's why I told you guys, I've told this before as well, that you need to focus on one session, and it's quite easy for you to back test 1 week per day. So basically, you could back test one whole month in 1 week, right? In 4 to 5 days. But do not burden yourself more than that, because then your mind will become tired, so you will enter into wrong trades and you will be having wrong data as well. So as much as you backtest the data, you need to have them journaled as well. So you need to understand what time frame you're entering, where you're taking the losses, is this a valid loss? So all those data will be useful for you at the end, right? Was there any news involved? All those journaling data will be useful. The same way you back testing, right? You need to forward test as well. But one of the common mistakes that few people do when it comes to forward testing is, okay, I've back tested the data, let me just forward test. So you go into MT5 or you go and grab a demo account of $100,000 and you start trading. Understand that demo accounts are not proper forward testing. Demo accounts do not come with the responsibility of managing risk, right? It does not involve you with the emotions of losing. So I know it's tough, I know it's tough, but what you need to do is at least get a 10k account, right? At least get a 10k account of the shittiest prop firm, right? Of the shittiest prop firms you could see in the market, right? You know what I'm gonna write? Of the shittiest prop firm you could see in the market, because you need to have that real trading scenario, and you would only get it if you actually spend some money and buy a trading account, right? And buy a trading account. It doesn't matter whether you pass a funded account, it doesn't matter whether you get paid for it, but you need to actually trade a account by spending some money, right? So you take about 30 plus trades per rules, right? You follow your rules, so you can create your own checklist of rule box. So you make sure you you tick all those rules, and then you enter into trade so that you know it's a valid trade or not. That will help you keep in focus with your trading strategy, right? That will help you stick to your own rules as well. And the most important thing is one methodology, right? This is the thing that most people fail to see, right? It's a very common problem. Oh, can you teach us a different strategy? And can you teach us how to trade this? Can you teach us how to trade that? That's the whole, right, loop of cycle you guys are into. You trade lit, then you trade Malaysian SNR, then you trade support and resistance, then you trade ICT, then you trade SMC, then you find something else fancy, and then you start trading that. So stop doing it. If you're profitable, you stick to what you're trading. If you're not profitable, if you back tested and it's not working, then it's fine. That's a different story, right? So you stick to one methodology, and you need to have sufficient chart time, right? Sufficient chart time. And understand that you will one day wake up and realize everything starting to make sense, but that doesn't happen overnight, right? It's not something you are planning, right? So the other important thing is funds, money, and management, right? So this is something that no one would tell you. This is for some people. What I'm about to tell, you might find it offensive, you might find it demotivating, but I'm telling you the real scenarios. I'm telling you what no one else would tell you, right? If you do not have funds or money, trading is not the current priority that you should be having, right? I'm not telling you trading is not for you. Trading can definitely be for you as well, but it should not be your priority at the moment, right? The consistent income is the most important thing for you to fund the trading, right? A consistent income is what would keep your psychology up. Consistent income is what would keep your anxiety off, right? If you have quit your 9 to 5 job thinking you're going to be a millionaire, and you don't have money in your bank, right? Then you are so, I don't want to tell the word, but you're so naive. That's all I could tell. Right? You're so naive. You need to have a consistent income to fund your trading, right? Any sort of 9 to 5 job, any sort of job, even if you're a taxi guy, even if you a person who collects garbage, even if you are someone who works part-time at a cafe, right? um any single job, right? Anything would work, because you need to have that cushion, right? You need to have that cushion to sit at the couch and stop worrying about it while you trade on your mobile, because you cannot afford a laptop or whatever it is. But you need to know that you have a fail safe plan. Even if you take a loss on this, you know you have a cushion. You can always go back to work and earn money, right? That should be the thing. Why I'm saying this, right? Why I'm saying this is because some people come into trading thinking, okay, let me deposit 100. I'm gonna make that 100 at $10,000, or 100 into $1,000, right? That's what happens. They make the 100 into 10K or 100 into $1,000, and they think, okay, I have to pay off my rent with this. I have to pay off my child's tuition classes with this. I have to give my wife pocket money with this, or husband pocket money with this, right? What's wrong with you guys? You are literally putting your whole trading career into full stop if you pressure yourself by relying on day-to-day expenses, right? By relying on day-to-day expenses to be covered from your trading income. That is not how trading should work, right? What's going to happen is you're going to push yourself to enter into trades. You're going to push yourself into earn more money, right? This is not the way trading would work. So that's why do not rely on trading as the primary income. You should have your primary income here. Trading should be your secondary income, right? And then you will be able to invest some of the money, right? Some of the money, not all of the money. Don't take credit card loans. Do not borrow money from people. If you do not have money, do not trade. Collect money, save it, have some funds. Once you have enough of funds for you to invest into your trading every month, then you get into trading. Until then, I'm sorry to tell you, my friend, trading is not for you until that point, and you should not be trading. This is the whole reason why my mentorship, or my whole our whole trading platform here, we do not advertise ourselves for mentorship unless one of you guys come into inbox and ask, and we do not go for cheap money. $50, $100, $200. Why? If you cannot afford any more than this to learn, right? How am I to believe that you're gonna invest $200 and buy a funded account, right? You buying a funded account with $200, if it's a if it's a CFD account, right? If it's a, of course, if it's a futures account, $100 is fine, otherwise it's 200. So if I cannot believe that you can spend $200 to buy a funded account, how are we to make sure, right? How can I give the guarantee, or how can you yourself give yourself the guarantee that you're going to be profitable? Because no one can predict what's going to happen to that account. You will definitely end up blowing your first account. You will definitely end up blowing five of those accounts at some point, right? But if you blow up five accounts, do you have a fail safe plan where you can go to work, lead your normal day to day life, right? Pay your bills and expenses, save money, and then come back again next month to never give up to buy another account? Can you do that, my friend? If you can do that, then trading is for you. If you cannot do that, that means you need to ask your question whether I have a primary source of income, which is a consistent income, which is your most important thing you need, right? So that you will not rely on trading as a primary income. What happens is that your mind tricks into thinking, okay, I already have money. I can cover my food bill, I can cover my rent, I can cover the expenses. If I make some money out of this, it's good. If I don't make money, that's fine. At least I learn something and I go on. Because whatever the money you spend on the prop firm is just a course fee. It's all a fee you pay to get the experience in the market, right? Unless, of course, you go and gamble. Risk management is the other thing, which is based on the data you've gathered from the backtesting session, right? So you would know how much you need to risk. If you have like $1,000 saved in the account, you know that you can only buy 10 accounts. For example, if you're talking about Lucid, you can only buy 10 futures accounts. So you need to know, okay, I can only afford 10 futures account in my entire year. If you have only $1,000 saved, entire year, right? Another person would be able to account 10 accounts entire month. Another one, 10 accounts in 1 week. Another guy could blow 10 accounts in one day and buy another 10 the next day, right? So you need to understand your risk management is also linked to your funds, right? Consistent income and funds. That's why I'm telling you, that's why I've told this as well. Trading is an unfair game. It only makes the rich people richer and the poor people more poor. That's why I'm telling you guys, if you do not have a primary source of income, if you are a kid in a garden trying to make yourself trade to get out of self to make some money, trading is for you, but not just now. I want you guys to study, graduate, get a job, or do not study, go work somewhere, whether it's a Tesco, whether it's a bus, whether it's a driving a bus, but do whatever you want, but have a consistent income. While you have a consistent income, you slowly build up on this trading, right? So when will you finally decide this is not for you? Is once the money that comes from this becomes bigger than this, and you have been trading consistently for 3 years, right? 3 years, and you are profitable, um, then you know your time has come to stop this job. Until then, you are doing yourself a big mistake by not doing a 9 to 5 job or consistent income. Please, 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 please do not make that mistake, which will spoil your whole psychology, right? That's all I could tell you guys. So, why is because the whole point on this whole psychology, right? It's like a pyramid, right? All of this is linked to each other, right? This will actually make you trade free from pressure when you have the funds, right? And at some point, you will realize you only want to hit um, the execution, right? You're not worried whether it's gonna hit TP or SL. You see your setup, you see your confirmation, your checklist, and you execute. You patiently wait to execute. TP or SL, you close your lap or close your phone, and then you go into the next day, right? So predefined risks, I've told about this before. Emotional mastery is when you avoid FOMO, right? So psychology is all mixed with this your fear of missing out, right? You can see the NQ markets pumping like this every single day, pumping up. And then you enter here and exit here, but then you see, oh, it's going up, let me buy, let me buy, let me buy. I mean, if you're talking about the recent markets, how the markets are crashing, and you see sell, 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 literally like a waterfall, and then you click sell here. The moment you click sell here, the market's gonna buy, right? How many times does this happen, right? It happens for everyone. So that's why I'm saying you need to avoid the FOMO, avoid the greed, right? And stick to what you can see and stay calm and disciplined, right? Stay calm and disciplined, because if you cannot stay calm and disciplined despite all that, it's gonna be really, really tough for you, right? The last notes, because I don't want to keep this quite long. um you have to think in probabilities, my friend. Trading is not something that you can wake up every single day, right? You can wake up every single day and okay, Monday to Friday, or win day, win day, win day, win day, win day. Oh, lost, and then you think the whole this trading strategy sucks. This doesn't work. I'm a loser. No, right? This only works if you are a scam, right? You'll have a win day, you'll have a losing day, you'll have a losing day, you'll have a win day, you'll have a win day, but you'll have a losing day as well. So it's all probabilities, right? It's not simple as this as well. It's not 3 out of 6 trades, right? There is a random distribution. Go read up about it if you want to know about theory of random distribution, right? How random the markets are, how you will make money, and how some days you will make losses as well. So it's very random. So you cannot predict when you will be having a winning streak or the losing streak, but you need to focus on it, right? And trade. Now, what do you mean by a casino operator? It's the same thing. You need to think about probabilities, and random distribution, right? And have a predefined risk, not about the profit or loss, but just the execution, right? And have patience. But most important thing of everything is stable income. If you had a bad week, if you lost 2k, um in, say, let's say for example you reach 4k, you were gonna reach take a 2k payout, you end up blowing that account, right? This is a real stuff which happened to me, right? You end up blowing that account, and if trading was your only source of income, what's gonna happen? You have to go into a hole and start crying, right? But if you have a backup, if you have your 9 to 5 job, you know life needs to move on, and this is not something that's permanent, right? One bad day, one bad week does not determine who you are, and you should just continue. So that's all I've got to say. But understand the whole take home message of this whole psychology video is nothing much except that you need to have proper funds, right? Stop falling for these petty telegram channels, right? Follow my signals, DM me for 10 USD, right? 20 USD, link in the bio, right? Come on, guys. Understand these things will not get you anywhere. When are you gonna change? Right? Just open the Twitter, open the X, open the Instagram, and see people with real payouts, and ask them what they've been doing actually. Have they ever been following some other person's stuff, right? Or have they actually been grinding, right? Having a stable income. Now, all of these, what I've explained to you through the slideshow, is what I needed to be profitable, is what everyone else also needs to be profitable as well, right? So you have to focus on that. So last but not least, I'm gonna sign off by saying huge credits to Viv, right? Thank you so much for getting this data into one piece of paper. He just sent me a piece of paper where he had collected lots of data uh, through his own wisdom. He had been meditating, he had been thinking about it. So, full credit goes to him. Thank you so much. But I want you guys also to make these changes, right? You will not be having anxiety, you will not be having depression, you will not be having consistent worries if you have a source of stable income, even if it's just 1,000 or 100 or even 10 USD per month, depending on wherever you are living, right? Whichever the continent you are living, but you need to have a stable income, because that's the only thing that's going to put your mind at ease, so that you'll be able to trade at ease as well, right? Cheers, guys. See you with another video next time.